Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and we're here to talk about the possibility of Teofimo Lopez moving up to welterweight. So this past week, Top Rank has sent an official request to the WBO to name Teofimo Lopez the WBO Super Champion at 140, and this news received some backlash from some fans, as many see it as another useless belt, like the franchise belt the WBC tried to implement, and I understand where they're coming from because boxing has a belt problem. There's too many unnecessary belts that confuses things and devalues the meaning of being a champion. But in this situation, I think it's a good idea and a smart move on the behalf of Top Rank. Let me explain. The WBO Super Champion is not an additional title like what the franchise belt was to the WBC. Rather, it's a status and designation granted by the WBO which gives certain rights based on the accomplishments of the champion. A WBO Super Champion gets certain rights, like being named mandatory challenger for a champion in a higher or lower weight division, extended time to make mandatory title defenses, and other things. It's basically getting a promotion for being a good employee. And some of you may be turned off by this, but the Super Champion status has been around for a while and has been mostly positive for boxing in my opinion. Terence Crawford was a WBO Super Champion at lightweight and 140, and it allowed him to fight for the vacant title at 140 against Thomas Delorme and challenged the champion Jeff Horn at welterweight immediately when he moved up on both occasions. Emmanuel Navarrete was a WBO Super Champion at featherweight, which allowed him to fight Liam Wilson for the vacant 130 title, which then led him to fight Oscar Valdez this past August. Alexander Usyk was a WBO Super Champion at cruiserweight, which allowed him to be Anthony Joshua's mandatory and had the flexibility to take two tune-up fights before going for the heavyweight titles. Canelo Alvarez, Jermell Charlo, Devin Haney, Terence Crawford, and Alexander Usyk are the current WBO Super Champions. Teofimo Lopez will be the sixth if the WBO grants it. And I believe that Teofimo has gained the right to be the Super Champion. The WBO has certain criteria such as contract with a major television network, a minimum of 10 title defenses, or if less than 10, the fighter has defended the belt against opponents of high recognition and high skills. The fighter has been a champion in more than one division or has been a unified champion. Teo checks all these boxes, having been a former WBO lightweight champion and a unified champion after beating Lomachenko, and beating the lineal and WBO champion Josh Taylor at 140. You can make the case that Teo arguably has the best resume and accomplishments in his generation at the current moment, so I think Teofimo definitely deserves it, and this would be beneficial for Top Rank as well. Teo has felt disrespected by Top Rank ever since he beat Lomachenko, so if the WBO grants this request on behalf of Top Rank, it can repair the relationship between both parties. It would show that Top Rank values and respects Teo. But if Teo becomes the WBO Super Champion, will he move up to welterweight, and can he win at welterweight? In my opinion, I think Teo should move up, and based on the current landscape at welterweight, Teo could definitely win and become a champion at welterweight. As we all know, Crawford's moving up to 154 to rematch Errol Spence, therefore he will vacate all of his belts at welterweight. The interim champions and number one contenders at welterweight will either be elevated or will have to fight for the vacant title. Alexis Roca is the WBO number one contender at welterweight, and I believe that Teo can beat Roca because of styles. Roca is a southpaw pressure fighter with a traditional come-forward Mexican style, while Teofimo is a slick counterpuncher. If Teo fights like slick boxer Gordo, like what he did against Josh Taylor, then he can definitely beat Roca. Only thing that Roca has, in my opinion, is the natural size advantage along with his power, but Teo is a faster fighter with a higher ring IQ. This would be the perfect move since Teo does not have an opponent for the fall and winter yet. He could grab a title, make himself a 3-division champion, and then come back down to 140 and unify with Devin Haney if Haney gets past Reach's Prograis. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.